You are looking at one of the most secretive and expensive industries on the planet. A finished python skin handbag can fetch up to $10,000, even $50,000 on the shelves of luxury boutiques in Paris or New York. But before becoming a symbol of wealth, it begins its journey in a much less glamorous way. Welcome to the Fortress, a high-tech tannery where wild nature is tamed by precise science. It all starts in the middle of the night, the trucks back into the bays. This is no ordinary cargo. Inside these sealed containers is the most precious raw material, the skins of giant pythons. The receiving process here leaves no room for error. A strict cold chain is maintained to stop natural decomposition. As soon as they leave the truck, these crates are untouched by human hands. Robots and automated forklifts take over. Watch closely. Each crate is immediately tagged with an RFID chip. In this world, every single skin has a unique identifier, a digital biography tracked from the moment it enters the warehouse until it reaches the customer. They are moved into a massive automated cold storage facility where temperatures remain constantly sub-zero. When a production order is issued, robotic cranes plunge into the darkness to retrieve the exact batch needed. At the inspection station, laser sorting technology and optical cameras scan the skin's surface in milliseconds. Size, grain, perfection. Everything is digitized instantly. These skins aren't just material, they are blank checks waiting to be filled out. But to transform a raw, stiff, salt-cured skin into a fashion material, it must undergo a brutal process of rebirth. We call this stage the wet work. Hundreds of skins are poured into massive containers called paddle vats. Here, water and chemicals begin the revival process. Giant paddles rotate slowly, awakening the dormant collagen structure. The goal is to remove the preserving salt and return the skin to a fresh state, just as it was when alive. When the water is drained, what remains is a heavy sodden mass of material. But this is just the beginning of impurity removal. The next scene might make the faint of heart shudder, but it is the backbone of the tanning industry, the fleshing machine. Observe the skill of these workers. They feed the skin into steel rollers spinning at dizzying speeds. Razor-sharp spiral blades skim across the underside of the skin, completely removing excess fat and flesh. The pressure must be incredibly precise. Too strong, and the $1,000 skin is shredded. Too light, and the excess fat will ruin the chemical process later. After mechanical cleaning, the python skins continue their journey to the rotating drums for deliming. Here, ammonium sulfate and enzymes are pumped in for deep cleaning, stripping away unnecessary proteins. Lab technicians continuously sample and check the pH levels. Just a tiny shift in acidity could destroy the reptile's unique scale structure. Once this process is complete, the skin is clean and softer, but it remains organic matter prone to decay. We need to freeze time for it.
This is where the real magic happens. The tanning process. First, the skins enter the pickling bath. High concentrations of salt and acid prepare the collagen fibers to receive the tanning chemicals. In the mixing room,
A vibrant blue solution is created from chromium salts. This is the gold standard of the modern leather industry. This blue liquid is pumped directly into massive rotating wooden drums. For hours, the python skins tumble in this mixture. The chrome penetrates every cell, locking the protein structure, transforming it from animal skin into leather, a material that will never rot. Temperature is controlled by hot steam. Every degree Celsius is monitored. When the technician performs the boil test and the skin does not shrink, the process is complete. When the drum doors open, the python skins now bear a signature blue color. In the industry, this state is known as wet blue. It is durable, flexible, and ready for any physical impact. The wringing machine, with immense pressure, squeezes the water out from within, compressing the leather structure. But natural python skin is uneven, thick in some places, thin in others. To make a high-end handbag, the thickness must be uniform down to the micrometer. The splitting machine is a mechanical marvel. A band knife moving at high speed slices the skin horizontally in two. The bottom layer is separated as suede, while the top layer, the one with the precious scales, continues its journey to become a masterpiece. The wet blue is just the canvas. Now we turn it into fashion. The skins are returned to smaller drums for retanning and dyeing. This is where the hand feel is created. Special oils called fat liquors are pumped in to lubricate the leather fibers, making them silky soft instead of stiff like plastic. At the same time, proprietary dye formulas are mixed. Today, it is a brilliant ruby red. The dye must penetrate through the entire thickness of the leather, not just sit on the surface. When you cut the skin open, you see a uniform red color from the inside out. After dyeing, the skin is wet and limp. Drying python skin is an art, because if done poorly, the scales will shrink and warp. Modern factories use vacuum dryers. The skin is spread flat on a hot metal plate, and the lid closes, sucking all the air out. Water evaporates at low temperatures, keeping the surface as flat as a sheet of paper. But drying makes the leather stiff. The staking machine solves that. Hundreds of vibrating metal pins continuously massage the skin, breaking the rigid bonds of dry collagen fibers, restoring its inherent softness. Next comes toggling, the stretching stage. Workers clip the edges of the skin onto metal frames, pulling it taut in all directions before sending it into a tunnel oven. This ensures the skin will never shrink again, maintaining maximum size to optimize profit. We are nearing the finish line of material processing. This is the finishing area, where dust is absolutely forbidden. On a pristine conveyor belt, the bright red skins move into an automated spray booth. Robotic arms glide back and forth with surgical precision. They apply a microscopic protective layer, followed by a metallic or pearlescent effect coat. Each layer is dried instantly by infrared lamps. The final top coat determines the gloss, matte, or high gloss. To create the signature high shine of evening bags, the python skin must undergo glazing. A high-temperature roller presses down hard on the surface. Under pressure and heat, the python scales lie flat, smooth, and reflect light like a mirror. The final step at the tannery, grading. Under specialized lights, experts scrutinize every millimeter. A tiny scratch from a thorn when the python was alive. A small pinhole from an insect bite. Everything causes a downgrade. Only the flawless Grade 1 skins are selected for the $10,000 handbags. They are electronically measured, carefully rolled in tissue paper, packed into rigid tubes, and loaded onto armored vehicles. Next destination, the Atelier, the craftsmanship workshop. Far from the roar of the factory, we enter the quiet, white space of the Atelier. Here, python skin is no longer material. It is treated as a work of art. On computer screens, designers nest the handbag patterns onto scanned images of the skin. The biggest challenge with python is that the scales must be perfectly symmetrical. A slight deviation at the center line ruins the entire bag. Automated, oscillating knife machines cut the pieces with absolute precision. There is no room for error. One wrong cut means throwing away thousands of dollars. The assembly process is like constructing a miniature building. The leather edges are skived thin so they don't bulk up when folded. Reinforcement layers are heat pressed onto the back to create structural shape. At the sewing table, the most skilled artisans take over. Sewing python skin is incredibly difficult. The needle must pierce through hard scales without cracking them. Every stitch must be perfectly even. After sewing, they use a hammer to gently tap and flatten the seams, hiding every trace of connection. But the detail that truly defines luxury lies in the edge painting. The artisan must sand, prime, dry, sand again, apply color, and dry again. This process is repeated multiple times until the bag's edge is rounded, smooth, and perfectly matches the leather surface. Finally, assembly. The interior lining is stitched to the exterior shell. The bag is turned right side out if necessary, shaped with hot air, and fitted with expensive metal hardware. An artisan carefully attaches the brand logo, and the handbag takes shape. Before leaving the workshop, the bag must pass the final test. Inspectors wearing white gloves scrutinize it under magnifying glasses. A speck of dust in the paint, a loose stitch, nothing is accepted. Once approved, metal details are covered with protective film. The bag is placed into a velvet dust bag, then nestled inside a rigid luxury box. It is not just a product, it is a promise of perfection. From here, the global logistics chain takes over. The box is packed into a carton, sealed with security tape, stacked on pallets, and flown across the world through massive automated sorting hubs. Final destination? A luxury boutique in the city center. Staff wearing gloves gently peel off the protective layers and place the bag on a brilliantly lit glass shelf. And this moment, when the customer walks in, pays, and holds the bag in their hands, the long journey from the rainforest, through the noisy factory, through the hands of artisans, has finally ended. A dangerous skin has become a symbol of power and wealth. That is how a python becomes an item worth $10,000.